This one's
David
interesting.
Kimowitz was a pillar of the New York City comedy scene. He was the co-owner of the Stand Comedy Club located in Union Square, which has hosted some of the best comedians in the world, and he's also helped comedians build their careers behind the scenes to a great extent. Unfortunately for the world of comedy, he was the victim of a horrific murder in 2019 that happened unexpectedly. This sent a ripple throughout the world of comedy that is still being felt today because David was so much more than just the co-owner of a great comedy club. In today's video, we will be documenting the brutal murder of David Kimowitz, all the details of how the situation unfolded, how comedians responded to this tragedy, and some of the work behind the scenes David did to help give opportunities to both established and up-and-coming comedians. So if that sounds interesting to you, then let's hop right into it. To begin with, we will discuss the details of David's murder with some reverence. David owned a house in Maplewood, which is a town located in northern New Jersey. He lived in this house with his wife and 2 kids. Additionally, working at his house was a 26-year-old nanny named Karen Bermudez Rodriguez. Karen had been working for David's family for about a year, and somewhere along the way she met 27-year-old Joseph Porter, who she had been dating for some time. Then the day of the murder was August 3rd, 2019, and it was looking like just a normal day in New Jersey. According to the New York Post, the weekend that the
just another day that ends in Y.
Wife and daughters were out of town spending time in Jersey Shore. Apparently the relationship between Karen and Joseph had gone south, with Karen attempting to break up with Joseph through text messages. Joseph was not handling the news of the breakup well, which led to him plotting the murder of his ex-girlfriend. The New York Post detailed witnesses in David's neighborhood who had pointed out some very suspicious behavior leading up to it. Kathy Cantwell, David's next-door neighbor, reported seeing Joseph Porter sitting in his Toyota Corolla all day on Friday, the day before the murders took place, and apparently he exited his car a couple of times just to pace up and down the street. According to another neighbor, the same day he was seen in his car, he was also seen standing in the woods later that night stalking his ex-girlfriend, who had thrown a house party for other nannies working in the neighborhood. Then on Saturday morning, all hell broke loose. Joseph Porter would enter David's home in the morning before 6 a.m. using a key that Karen had given him. He had a knife and immediately stabbed David to death. Then he chased Karen outside the house before stabbing her to death as well. As if this scene wasn't grim enough, neighbors gave horrifying accounts of what they heard during the murders, and it paints a troubling picture. Kathy Cantwell reported hearing repeated blood-curdling screams coming from Karen and how she kept saying, "Oh my God," over and over again, while another neighbor recounted someone saying no repeatedly, followed by a deafening silence. What's more, a 20-year-old jogger recounted running by the house and seeing the nanny in critical condition before calling the police. She would be pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital, and then later on David Kimowitz's body would be discovered in the house as well. Joseph Porter would then be brought into custody.
You know how I always do that. You know how they say most of the deaths that happen domestically happen in the kitchen? Like, you know how they have weird statistics that it just is what it is. When they do investigations or they're called and they're doing, murder unalive investigations, they keep these numbers. There needs to be the study on the percentage of joggers who were at the right place at the right time, depending on how you look at it, or the wrong place at the wrong time. Joggers are always coming across a body, unaliving of somebody, all types of messes. Some of you joggers need to find another place to jog.
On charges of double murder, weapons charges, and criminal restraint. Upon the news of David's death, the New York City comedy community would be absolutely devastated at this loss. Comedian Rich Voss would respond to the murder and say, quote, "This is such shocking news. A great guy and friend has passed this weekend. Just talked with him last week and Friday night. He seems so happy. A wife, 2 kids, his new club opened, and now this horrific news. David Kimowitz, you will be missed. Rest in peace." End quote.
Lesser clippers, they're not hard enough, the angle is too high, they're not polished, they're not particularly sharp.
Rich Voss worked very closely with David in the New York City comedy circuit, but David also represented him as a manager for a brief period during his career. I mentioned earlier that David was so much more than just the co-owner of The Stand. This is because he actively worked with comedians on getting them TV shows, producing specials, and also helping them get booked at clubs and late-night shows across the country. According to the Comics Comic website, in the 2000s, David helped produce the pilot of a show called Misery Loves Comedy, which was about the brutal life of New York City comedians comedians featuring Robert Kelly, Patrice O'Neal, Rich Voss, Colin Quinn, and Bonnie McFarlane. The show was deemed too dark to air, but I share this just to emphasize how much David cared about helping comedians get opportunities. And not just safe, squeaky clean comedians, but also hardened, old-school, honest club comics. He also helped Michael Cox book stand-up comedians on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Michael had really kind words to say about David. He said, quote, "Our comedy family lost a special one yesterday. David Kimowitz was someone who would want to know how my babies and family were doing first, business second, and was always there for advice and offered his support. Just last week, we were sitting, shouting over incredibly loud music at the Comedy Central party in Montreal, talking about our kids, and he was saying what I could expect after they turned 1, which was happening the next day. You will be dearly missed, Dave," end quote. Before I share more words from other comedians about David, I want to show you a few more of his credits of comedy shows he helped film and produce, such as Big J Okerson's Comedy Central Hour, and many more things on top of that. We also heard comedian Steve Hofstetter talk about David, saying, quote, "I have known David Kimowitz for 20 years. We were undergrads together in the joint program at Columbia, and it was fun when it turned out he went into the same business. Even sold him my old club when I moved to LA. This is a horrible loss, just horrible," end quote. Aside from his family, it would appear that the person who was most devastated by David's death was comedian Big J Okerson. As mentioned earlier, Big J had help from David to produce a Comedy Central Hour, and on top of that, he used to manage Jay early on in his career. Big J Okerson wrote a tremendous paragraph that is very long about David, saying, quote, "For any of you who never had the pleasure of meeting Dave, I would love to tell you that he was the most fun, loving, positive, and caring people I've ever met. 8 years ago, we began working together, and with his guidance and help, we achieved so much together. David and his partners, Chris Italia, Paolo Italia, and Patrick Milligan started the Stand Comedy Club and hired Christine Evans to be the manager of the club. That club and the people affiliated became such a home and family for me in New York City. I spoke with him more than anyone about my life, my fears, my self-doubts, and Dave was always there to support and be a positive influence in what can be a very ugly business. Dave put together the audio demo for The Bonfire, which was the catalyst for Dan Soder and I to be able to do what we love. He helped me navigate and produce 2 specials, 3 albums, and our baby, What's Your Fucking Deal. He invited me into his personal life and was so much more than a manager. He was family. His brother and father have been my dentist for the last 7 years, helping me out so much when I was too broke to afford dental care. He was so important to me and my family, every step of the way, and feel truly unstable in this world without him. On top of all the amazing things I can say about his friendship and guidance, far more impressively, he was a devoted husband and doting, loving father that we all would be so lucky to have. He valued his family and friendships more than anything, and the love that they felt for him shows that. I had to break this news to several people, and it was gut-wrenching. The only smile I can muster up right now is remembering that just a week ago, we spent 4 days in Montreal together at a comedy festival, attached at the hip, planning, laughing, and just really enjoying time together. I'll remember that week forever and be happy that I got to just appreciate being around him one last time. He is irreplaceable, and a giant void has been left in my heart, the world of comedy, and the world in general. Not enough people like him in the world. Pure goodness. I will do my best to honor him in everything I do moving forward. Please keep his amazing wife, 2 baby daughters, and his beautiful family in your thoughts and prayers during this time. My apologies for the long post and any repeated words or typos, but I finally felt it necessary to let the world know that we really lost one of the great guys this weekend. I love you, Dave. I'm glad I got to tell you and show you that a lot." End quote. I know that was a lot, but Big J really knew this guy in and out. He even goes deeper into the
ain't bad at all.
this interview with Michael Malice.
You want to explain kind of what happened and how you found out?
Yeah, I found out, unfortunately, 20 minutes before I had to go on stage in
Oh my God.
Cincinnati, Ohio. But, yeah, it was like through a rumor mill. But Dave Kimowitz, who was my manager for 8 years and one of the owners of the Stand Comedy Club.
Who was it who called you, and what was your reaction?
Lewis.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, Lewis called me. And really, actually, what he did was he was like, "Hey, I don't know if this is true." He's like, "I just heard like a rumor of this.
Right.
Basically, there's something," and he just goes, "Something bad happened to Dave," and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "No," and I just like, I actually took that as like, I'm like, "No, he's just like."
Yeah, stupid
He's
prank.
not answering. No.
Oh.
It's like, I mean, he's just not answering his phone for
Okay,
somebody.
sure.
Is whatever the thing is like.
Calm down. Yeah.
And I text his brother, and no answer.
Yeah.
Like there. So I was like, real. So then I called Dave, like speakerphone, goes to voicemail like right away, not even ringing. So then I was like, let me call his brother. His brother answered the phone. Like oddly enough, it was like, "Hey Jay." Didn't seem like it was even like I was almost happy to hear that because I go, "Hey, have you heard from Dave today at all?" And he was like, "No." Calm, but definitely not as jovial. You said
Yeah,
they're like a pun family. Now
Yeah,
he's not being quite as jovial, but he didn't seem like the worst news ever.
Right, just said no. Yeah.
He's like, no. And I go, how about yes? And he kind of cuts me off, but he's like, no. He goes, Dave got killed yesterday. And he kind of like half told me the story of what happened, and I was just like, holy shit. My girlfriend worked extremely hard. She worked with them for years. And so it was rough on her. We both know the family very well. So that's the craziest thing as far as that goes I've ever dealt with.
I think Jay's lovely words about David are the perfect way to close this video out.
Yeah.
All in all, David Kimowitz was a huge part of the New York City comedy community, and he has and will continue to be missed. It's a horrible tragedy what happened to him, and I hope that you learned something from this video that covered all the information surrounding David's murder and how his death impacted the New York City comedy scene. The comedy universe is certainly a darker place in David's absence. Real quick, shout out to my friend Crossblocker for bringing this story to my attention. This video would not have been possible if he didn't reach out to me and generously give me this information. Anyway, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel down below. Also hype the video, and if you want to...
I never knew about this. I never heard this. I never knew anything about this. It's just, I know dealing with mental, the mind state. I know being in a weak mind frame. I understand that. I've seen what that looks like. I understand and I can comprehend because I'm familiar with thoughts of harming yourself. But the most cowardly thing to harm someone else for nothing other than your selfish reasons, not because someone is in danger, you or a loved one, not because you've been put in a position where you have to protect yourself or your family, but simply because of your selfish reasons. It's just cowardly. There's no other way to look at it. Pardon me. Pacing around that woman's house, pacing around that home and thinking about it for that full day until he ended up leaving just to come back the next day. Cowardly. Like, bro, you had every single option to walk away from this and not make that decision. And you'll be dealt with accordingly, but it's just foolish. And if I could really stress one thing to the young guys is, it's not, I don't want to be if I was on the street with you right now, we were on the block and we were talking amongst each other like brothers, I tell you, bro, imagine marrying a woman is one thing, committing to one person for the rest of your life, and you love this person and they give you loyalty and companionship, but throwing away your life and never having an option to meet another woman because of a woman that you want to unalive that no longer wants anything to do with you. If you think, some of you young guys think marriage is crazy, that's absurd. That's absurd. Are you going to throw it all away? Never get to talk to anybody. Like, I understand, bro. I've lost loved ones. There's no replacing it. There's no replacing them. There's no replacing what we had. But that's selfish, immature and selfish to act rash and make a decision where you harm someone. Like, bro, you know how many rappers from Trouble, rest in peace, you know how many artists we lost from something that just went left real quick? All because of what I consider cowardly. I consider that cowardly to unalive a woman or a man because one or the other doesn't want to be with you anymore. And it's selfish. Because there's nothing you can say. For the next 40 years, that's if you survive. Because some of y'all are so cowardly, you unalive them, and then you unalive yourself. So you can run from the consequences. For you don't have to face yourself. But for the next 40 years to life, there's nothing you can ever look in that dirty mirror in your prison cell, or ever look at someone while you're sitting there and chow, or ever look across the hall and you're on the phone with a loved one. There's nothing you can ever say, one, that's going to bring them back, but two, that's going to make what you did acceptable. Why we had to end on such a dark note? Should we check what's going on with KG? I really don't want to. I did save the video, but I really don't want to. I ain't gonna lie to you.
What's up, fam?
I challenge you to tell people that you didn't file for a divorce or whatever you call a divorce until I stopped giving you money because you and your family have been stealing from me the whole time. Tell them that. Since you want to paint it like I'm a deadbeat dad, I take care of my children and I was still taking care of you while you was with that. Tell them that. Tell them I've been gone since 2020.
Alright, what's up with it, y'all? So look, I'm back again with another video right now. Look, Kevin Gates, he going viral right now. Basically for, you know, spilling the beans about him and Draco's relationship.
I feel like I'm Kevin Gates in 2020.
And I rarely talk about rappers and shit. And I was gonna put this on my second channel where I said I was gonna start doing these little short videos about stuff like this over there because it is a niche for it. But I just said I'm gonna go ahead and throw it on here on this channel real quick because a couple of people hit me up and asked me my thoughts and opinions on it and shit like that. And it's just simple, bro. It's just regular marriage type shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what it sounds like.
I think a lot of people do take too many different sides without even knowing facts. There's so many women that have been hurt that
Definitely.
automatically just project, and, you know what I'm saying, and put their relationships and emotions into others. And I think that that's unhealthy. I feel like you should just chill and let people do them. True enough, people may be wrong in certain instances about what they do, but ultimately we'll never know nobody's dynamic in their relationship. So it's just best to let that shit play out. Yeah, true enough, we're gonna have opinions and stuff like that, but it's like crazy to have your emotions in it. Cause I'm looking on these blogs and they going hard as hell on Kevin
I bet
Gates
they are.
still. And he basically just let it be known that he has been having custody of his children. When people were believing the blogs and shit, that's why I don't like the blog, bro. That shit just got a bad name all the way around it. But you know, the blogs was putting out that he didn't take care of his kids, and you know, they didn't put allegedly behind it. They just ran with it and shit like that. But he just basically said he been having custody of his kids, or not necessarily custody. He been having the children. I put it like that. And he also said that Drake and her family been stealing from him. Now, I see women saying that. Now, I'm not saying none of this shit is true or false. I ain't on no sides. I'm just thinking logically in this situation because I was asked what I thought. But they was basically saying you can't steal from someone when you're married to them. And I feel like, you know, if you want to be technical to a certain extent, that may be true. But
common sense, skip scene.
If that's the case, then that's the case.
You can't steal from someone you're married to. Love, you can steal from someone you're working for. I mean, you could steal from someone that owes you money. You could steal. What you mean you can't steal because you're married?
I just feel like it just
especially if you go about it being sneaky. Y'all just be yapping.
To get into the video, I wish that, you know, everybody that's involved with them can move forward with grace. You know, he also said that she had another man she been taking care of. No, hold on, let me tighten up. He said she got another man and he been taking care of her while she's been with it. And you know, we've been hearing certain shit that he say in songs about her, but he also said that she spoke on him, and that's why he's speaking on her. Me personally, I thought that she wasn't gonna speak on him and he wasn't gonna speak on her. But I can understand her wanting to get that off for people who was wondering about certain things, and I can understand him wanting to, you know, rebuttal to all the bullshit that's going on. So I'm guessing it's gonna be a video of her floating around more now with her speaking on that relationship, because it sounds like he was directly responding to what she was saying. But once again, I'll say what I had to say. I just feel like a lot of people should take the time out to understand that we don't know these people. We don't know nothing about these people. We don't know their character outside of the internet. And, you know, to kind of project what you've been through is kind of crazy. And then to get so emotionally driven behind it is crazy. I know it's going to be somebody mad at me for something that I said in here too. With they slow ass, with your slow ass, whoever you are. Not my people, but somebody who want to argue with me about what I had to say. Oh well. But look,
checks out.
We're gonna talk about this in the comment section. I will drop another video tonight. I just had to throw this out there because I was asked about it. It is what it is. I'll holler at y'all in a minute though.
Right. Internet like my children had just left my house. They stay with me. I'm the only person that they stay with.
Oh yeah, so he wasn't just in the backstage just yapping. He was telling the truth. He was getting... Hey, listen, he was vetting. If you let me tell it, he was vetting. He was talking to some people he felt like there was love and he could just be honest with. But yeah, this is old. I thought this was all new. Pardon me.
Drake, I challenge you to tell people that...
So that's it. He's claiming... You know what? We not getting involved with this. This is a marriage, and for all we know, things could be better in a year from now. Or for all we know, there's bits and pieces missing on both sides. We're good. Alright, chat. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Oh, hold up. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Get out.